Good morning, everybody. Hey, welcome to Tuesday, November 12th. I hope you had a great Veterans Day. For those that served, we are humbly thankful for your service. And so, spent yesterday morning providing some breakfast at our church for veterans. Had a great time serving them. That's the reason I wasn't on yesterday. So, I hope you guys had a great day. And yesterday, well, the markets were kind of mixed, as I'm sure Dave and I will discuss here in a few moments. But, we are still at record highs, folks. I cannot impress upon you enough that if you are retired or 5 years out from retirement, you must get a financial x-ray. You must know what your financial risk number is in your portfolio. And I'm sure that 90% of you out there don't know what that number is. Call me today and let's schedule a time to find out what your number is. 863-382-0037. Hey, Dave will be with us here in just a few moments.
5.7 right here, Ben. That's Phil Collins and his old bag of band, Genesis there. Good morning. My name is Morning Dave. We're at 8:39. Time to check in on your money and see how Wall Street is treating your 401k and IRA this morning. He is here, downtown Sebring. We head to the offices of Statler Financial Services, where Phillip Statler is standing by. Glad to have you back, Phillip. I hope it was a nice Veterans Day weekend.
It was a great day yesterday, Dave. I had the privilege of serving some of our veterans at a church breakfast and enjoyed that immensely. So, and I hope everybody else enjoyed their day on Veterans Day, even though most people were still working. So, but glad to be back today, Dave.
Glad to have you back. And yeah, you mentioned most folks still working. It was a weird day on Wall Street because the bond market was closed, but the equity markets were open. And I'd surmised in the morning that it was going to be a relatively slow day volume-wise. Looking at the charts yesterday, yeah, it was off by a little bit. Not as much as I expected. Sounds like we traded an awful lot of stocks on the margins until they could get their money out of the bond market today, right?
Well, yeah, I think so, David. You know, it was one of those things that the bond market was closed yesterday, but did not seem to affect the stocks at all, though. Basically, I think you could call it a flat day for most of it.
Yeah, pretty darn much. The big mover of the day was Boeing, who made the announcement midday that they expected to be shipping, pending government approval, that 737 MAX. They expected to be manufacturing and shipping it again, and that had a big effect on Boeing, which ended up giving us a positive Dow. The NASDAQ and the S&P were both off fractionally. I mean, it wasn't an off day of any great consequence, but the Dow was the exception largely on the strength of Boeing.
Yeah, it really was, and that helped make it a green day yesterday, but not much. But hey, it was green. The rest of the indexes were slightly red. So, but it's going to be interesting to see if Boeing can really start and deliver those MAX 737s prior to the end of this year.
The way they've been pasted, it's going to be really interesting to see if anybody wants the darn things at this point, right?
Well, I think you could be right there, Dave. I got to say though, I think airlines like Southwest really need to get those things back in flight. I mean, they're getting hammered by the FAA right now because they have like 30-something planes that are outside of the maintenance window, and if they don't get it done by basically January 31st, they're going to get shut down.
Ooh, that's smart. Yeah, the new shipments are going to be in jeopardy, but yeah, getting the ones that are currently out and in the fleets back in the air would be awful nice. I mentioned yesterday that one of the things that's going to be market mover that goes outside the realm of the actual stocks that we're trading are the fact that we got two heavies both doing the public speaking circuit. President Trump does a rubber chicken circuit in New York today, talking about where he thinks the economy is going. 5 gets you 10. He says everything's looking good. What do you think?
You know, he's got to. I mean, he's the president. It's got to look good from his perspective. And though you and I keep talking about a little bit of slowing economy, I'm sure he's not going to mention the slowing part. It's going to be all looking good.
I suspect so. Probably it's going to be how badly he slams the other guy that's showing up in public today that's going to provide the market. And that's going to be Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve Chairman, who does his quarterly appearance in front of Congress. He starts out with the Joint Economic Committee this morning, I think, if I remember correctly, and then does the House tomorrow. And that's where we start really reading tea leaves. What does the Fed chairman really think we're going to do as far as interest rates for the November and the December meetings and going forward? We really don't have much of a clue at this point in time what's going through his head, do we?
No, we really don't. But I got to think Powell's got to be a little closer into Trump's graces after 3 cuts here over the last 6 months to a year. So, I mean, I think from that perspective, he's got to be making it up the list on the president's list there, because that's what the president really wanted, and that's what we're seeing.
Absolutely, and we'll find out what the president thinks, first of all, as to whether he calls him Jerry the Turkey or whether he calls him the savior of the economy. That'll happen first before Powell even has a chance to get raked over the coals in Congress. And that, of course, is going to move the market because there's enough interest-sensitive stocks that are out there to the point where tea leaves and interest rate cuts become real big market movers. We're kind of at the end of earnings season, but we do have some household words, household names that are reporting. And one of the ones isn't even a report. It's just almost earth-shaking. Biggest dairy products company in the nation, I think, Dean Foods, declaring Chapter 11. Wow.
Yeah, they are the largest milk producer in the United States, and they have filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So we'll have to see what happens with that. Hey, we're talking about different companies. Juul announced that they're laying off 650 workers. That's 16% of their workforce. So that will be playing into next week's first-time unemployment numbers, I'm sure.
Ouch. Yeah, we don't think about Juul very much around here because there aren't many around this part of the country, but they own a boatload of grocery stores around the country under multiple names, don't they?
No, not that Juul. I think it's the Juul that has the cigarettes maker.
Oh!
E-cigarette guy. The e-cigarette guys.
Juul. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I was thinking Juul Foods. That's the vape business has been under fire lately. Let's go on to something we both know what we're talking about. CBS reported, and I had that one this morning. The big TV network reported their quarterly earnings. Profit beat the street, but their revenue was off by a bit. I'm not seeing them on my big winner or loser list, but media properties making a change with Disney introducing their new streaming service effective today. They're always worth watching for the next few days to see what the market thinks is going to happen to the other media stocks.
Well, it really is, because, I mean, CBS reporting that, they're not quite the same as a Disney, because Disney has so many, ESPN and ABC and then the Disney parks and the whole film industry. So it's not quite the same, but it's still, you can look and see how is the media section doing when you start looking at some of those things. And I'm sure that Viacom still is playing a role in there.
I'm assuming so. They still, I think, have a majority equity position in CBS. So there's going to be some upset on the media side and in the streaming industry, of course, with the Disney thing starting out today. You had some other household names that reported that we recognized, didn't you?
I did. On the automotive and retail front, we've got Advanced Auto Parts. They really had a pretty decent quarter. I mean, they beat on earnings per share by 5 cents a share. They beat on revenue. However, they missed on same-store sales, came in lower than expected. And they did announce, though, that they're going to buy back another $700 million of stock. So I thought, well, that would be good enough to have them buoying up. I mean, they only missed on one little thing, but they're trading. Yeah, but they're trading down 6% this morning.
Yeah, they're toward the top of my big loser list. I knew a shoe was going to drop when you told me that they were beating on profit, beating on revenue, and something had to go. Yeah, it's almost 6% drop according to my listings. They're at the top of my big loser list this morning.
Yeah, so the other one I have is D.R. Horton, the home builder. They beat by 10 cents a share. Revenue was just a little bit below what they had forecasted. They raised their dividend by 2.5 cents a share. So they're up today. 2.6%, really getting close to their 52-week high.
Okay. Another one that reported was Tyson Foods. I had that one. Did you catch that?
I do have Tyson. Tyson, which is probably one of the largest beef and poultry producers, they missed by 8 cents a share during the fourth quarter. Revenue came in a little bit less than what was expected. Now, they are very optimistic about what's going to happen in 2020. So I guess they're looking ahead. They're trading down today 1.25%.
Yeah, I was going to say they're getting hammered, but nowhere near as badly as Advanced Auto Parts did, and Advanced actually beat the street.
Exactly. Yeah, so you just don't ever know.
There ain't no justice in the world. Resetting the table this morning, Dow up, NASDAQ and the S&P off fractionally yesterday on a half-functioning financial market day. 45 minutes before we open this morning, Phillip, what do the trends look like so far?
Dave, we're pretty flat today. I've got everything up less than 0.1%, actually less than 0.05%. So we've got the the Dow up $6, the S&P even, and the NASDAQ up $3.75. So I'm going to say it's going to be a really lackluster start to the markets today. On the commodities side, we've got gold and silver trading down about 1/3%, and we got crude oil raising its ugly head up a little bit, up 0.5% to $57.16 an ounce. I mean, a barrel.
Well, poop. Looking overseas markets, Asia was generally up when they closed early this morning. Great Britain's recovering a bit. They got hammered yesterday after a GDP report that showed them just barely staying out of recession for the quarter. Germany trading up this morning, and Great Britain recovering with almost 0.5% increase halfway through their day. Phillip, somebody needs some advice to stabilize and figure out how to keep one's retirement secure. That's your specialty. How do I find you on the phone?
Hey, Dave, they can give us a call at 863-382-0037 to schedule their financial x-ray. The most important thing that people need to understand is how much risk they have in their portfolio. And the way to do that is to actually have a number. What is your risk number? And that's what our financial x-ray really does. It drills down to determine what your risk number is and then how much risk you have in your current portfolio. And then join us every weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturdays, 10 a.m. Sunday mornings on News Talk 7:30 a.m.
All righty. We'll look forward to it tomorrow morning here on Light FM, same time, with a look at what happened today and what's likely to affect our money tomorrow. Fair enough?
Fair enough, buddy. You have a great day, and I look forward to speaking to you tomorrow.
You too. Be well. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services, Phillip Statler.
Have you done your...
Hey, folks, again, I want to thank you for joining us today. I hope you got some little tidbit out of today's discussion. I look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow. Until then, have a great day.